Hello, it's George Lees. Still had no reply from any of my political representatives about the massive crimes that I've reported to them and reported to the Lothian Borders Police, almost on a daily basis. Today I'm going to show you that the Court of the Bank of England has been changed again. That is the people that issue the money to themselves. David Cameron's representatives for Cairn are still on that. That's the man who's resigned from our democracy. His cabal are still stealing from it. Okay, and I'm going to take you first into the Chinese Forbes Rich List members. Yesterday I made the videos on the relatives of Bill Gates. All of them are massive corporate millionaires, and 5 of them were presidents. His relatives, 5 of them were presidents of the United States, including George W. and Herbert Poppy Bush, including Nixon, including FDR, the murderous bastard that took all of those lives in World War II, and then God took him down in 1945 because he tried to start the Cold War. So there's the Bank of England. This man I'm going to show you now is the boss there. The former bosses were Sir David Lees as the obfuscation tool for me, and I believe this one might have replaced him. Okay, there's all the folk that are still on it. There is Anthony Habgood. He interlocks with the now jailed Chinese billionaire. There is Mr. Dr. Kwok. I'll show you the pictures of him. Okay, and I'll show you the interlock. Here it is. So there's Carney, the 800 grand a year rising fast. He wants out now because I've got him pinned. He is a joke about Carnival in Austria, and that's where all of the genes come from that are the greedy bastards. And all through the boardrooms that Anthony Habgood is now chairing, you find the world elite families, the Alex and the Porowets, of that Eleanor of Aquitaine issue that we talked about yesterday. All of them are through it. The Baldwins are on the boards, and it's totally sickening because this one is on at least 2 of the new age energy companies, and that is where the Chinaman, who's the head of the Lee Mafia in America, is the felon now. And he's still on the Forbes Rich List in right between 2014 right up to 2016, and he is a billionaire at the world's expense. All of them are stealing from the Bank of England. So Anthony Habgood is the chair of the nominations committee. Can you see how a felon like that would come in very useful? There's Bradley Freed. And there is, let me show you just in case we get confused and we cannot find this page again. There's the members. Mark Carney, Governor, indicated he would serve to 30th June 2018, former head of the Royal Bank of Canada, the RBC. Ben Broadbent, Deputy Governor, Monetary Policy, not a British citizen. Sir John Cunliffe, Deputy Governor, Financial Stability. Nemat Minush Shafiq, all of them really British names, Deputy Governor, Markets and Banking. Sam Woods, Deputy Governor, Prudential Regulation, that is the insurance companies that defraud everybody, including the flood victims in Hawick, and Chief Executive of the Prudential Regulatory Authority. That's the Prudential and the insurance companies that now are the Intel people. Here is David Cameron's old allies, Bradley Freed. He's been on it for ages, since I last reported it. Expiry date of his appointment 2019, first appointed 2012, and he is in charge of Grove Point Capital. But when you look for the other directors, they're in charge of up to 20 companies, and their wives work in the corrupted sector, and they use the biggest launderers of the lot. Here's David Cameron's mate and profiteer, Tim Frost, non-executive director of Cairn Capital. They pretend that they have energies and mining interests. Yet this is the Lothian Road reports that I have given to John Lamont MSP, who's in denial about never being able to meet me. Yeah, he is an advisor on law in Scotland. He is a massive crook. Yeah, and he's now pretending that he's a homosexual so that he can get out from under my gaze. Okay, Diana Dido Harding, Talk Telecom Group PLC. Yeah, that is all the mafias that are the Vodafone people that are in David Cameron's chipping Norton set, who my wife works for. Yeah, and she may not get remunerated at all because she's really stupid. Yeah, and the one at the top is on the board of Marks and Spencer's, which is also the intel hub for the training of Miss Manningham Buller, for the training of Stella Rimington and all of the MI5 and MI6 bosses and their plants like Mrs. Valerie Jane Lees. Yet trained first with Marks and Spencer's in Baker Street, where the Baker Street irregulars have now been written out of history because that is profiteering in wartime when 45 million people died. Dave Prentice is still on it. Yeah, this is the put in a working man's representative so we can demonise him as we steal everything that we produce that should go to the country's financing. Yeah, this is what the Bank of England should do. It should pay for all of the country's initiative. Now the taxpayers are the only ones that do that, and these guys just party all the time in places like Carnival in Austria. Dorothy Thompson, yeah, that's the Thompsons on the Forbes rich list. The Thompson twins were the press magnates, and they're still way up the Forbes rich list. Do you get it? You see how they're picked to be divisive tools. Unison is the biggest public sector union in the country. Don Robert, Chairman Experian PLC, I think that's a financial services fraud just by its very nature. And this is the Chief Executive, the Thompson woman. She goes right through to 2018. She's the head of Drax. Right then, let me show you the criminals in the billionaire sector and these are still on the rich list. Top 100 rich people in the world. He runs the Lee mafias, yeah, and his name is Kwok, so that can be obfuscated by my wife, because she was very fond of cooking in the wok. Yeah, and he's a doctor, and he's all over the internet, and let me show you the interlock first before I show you the crimes that he is now confirmed as having committed. Yeah, and he passes everything on to his big brother. Okay, here it is. This is E.ON, one of the big defrauded energy companies. There is Dr. Anthony David Cocker. There is the ship Porret joke. That is the joke about the Lion in Winter cast members. There's the Tysons on the Forbes rich list. There is Dr. Kwok Po David Lee, director, yeah, unbelievably, since March 1939, at the beginning of the war, because this is not the legitimate energy company, it's just a joke. It's E.ON with the letter E, then a full stop, then an on, yeah, and they're all over it, and they've got the other energy companies with their legitimate names, and I've got all the director numbers now. Okay, so he's on the Forbes rich list. He was the director, according to this, between March 1939 and the 28th of January 1998. Yet these are Chinese. They're alleged to be politicians. They are alleged to be Chinese politicians, the Communist menace. This is one of the capitalist frauds that takes us right into the issuance of money for our country, in inverted commas. Yeah, and just below him, I think you've got the big mobster that I've just shown you, who's the new boss at the Bank of England. Oh no, they've somehow or other gotten rid of that. There he is, Mr. Anthony John Habgood, director, yeah, at this company called E.ON, yeah, E.O. Do you get it? The donkey joke in everything. E.ON UK PLC with a mafia member who's in jail currently. If the article is true, all of it is false news. So Kaac, the song that Shania Twain sings, is another one of the Chinese millionaires. Yeah, and every one of those covers in the Forbes Rich List are explained in my video. That's Hans Rosling as the cover, yeah, as a scientist and statistician for Hans Rosling, yeah, who's 85 years old, and they're all massive frauds against the people. Okay, so there's the interlock between the current boss on the court of the Bank of England, Mr. Anthony John Habgood, and Dr. Kwok Po David Lee, the Lee Mafia boss, yeah, who's been on that board since 1939. Can you guess why the Chinese, yeah, and Ho Chi Minh and all of the people were aligning with FDR and Churchill in those massive summits all around the world as they killed the 45 million people and innocent bystanders? Yeah, and he's, I don't know what those things are because I can't see the top of the listing, but he's right up to February 2002 he's involved with this company. Oh, unless that's his birth date. Let's have a look. If that's the case, they have changed the oh, it is his birthday. Okay, so we can get rid of the warmongering theory. I'm being very unjust to him as a convicted felon like me. Yeah, and the Bergmans are in it, and everything is in it. There's the Cocker Spaniel joke about the Pilgrim Fathers and them sailing. Okay, so I've shown you the interlocks, I've shown you the new directors at the court of the Bank of England, I've shown you the Carney fraud, and because he's in the Pizzo Alpine mafias, when he makes announcements that they're going to issue more money to themselves, they've issued 500 billion in quantitative easing since the Brexit news was released. Yeah, and that is 500 billion to them and their friends. None of it goes to the country or any of its initiatives. Right then, so let's hear the version about the millionaires and how law enforcement has pinned them. Pinned them. Hong Kong billionaire gets 5 years in prison. The kind of seedy looking billionaire.
This man, Hong Kong billionaire Thomas Kwok, has been sentenced to 5 years in prison. Hong Kong's former #2 government official, gets 7.5 years, all this centering around $3.7 million in bribes. I'm Raymond Sims here for the Wall Street Journal Digital Network. Ken Brown is our Hong Kong bureau chief and joins me here after covering this for the past 6 months. So, initial reaction?
Well, not surprising. These are serious charges, and everyone knew that. Thomas Kwok gets almost a full sentence. They mitigated it a bit for sort of being a good citizen and such like that. I guess the one surprise would be Hoy, who was convicted of 5 charges, gets 7.5 years. He could have gotten him consecutive, which would have been 35 years. He's a 66-year-old man. The judge had him run concurrently.
Right. Do you think that was any influence there, or do you think it was because he was Hong Kong's #2 before?
No, I think because it was Hong Kong's #2 would have made the sentence worse, right? I think the judge said that these are all sort of one case and we'll run them concurrently.
Right. Now,
boss at the core of the Bank of England.
How do you think this conveys a message to Hong Kong into the outside world, with Hong Kong being transparent or trying to be corruption-free?
Well, so the case in and of itself, you can look at 2 ways, right? Either Hong Kong's full of corruption and look at these bribes, or they nailed it, right? They went and investigated and brought down 2 really powerful people. These sentences, Thomas Kwok's a billionaire. The guy's worth $70-something billion. He's in his early 60s. He's going to jail 5 years. That's a pretty serious message.
Right, and it's interesting that because they are going to jail for $3.7 million, but these guys they're billionaires. They could have clearly not had to do this if they chose to, but they went ahead and did it, and of course they're paying the price here. Right. Now the impact to Sun Hung Kai Properties, one of the biggest developers in the world, market cap of around $42 billion last I checked. Any impact there?
Well, as expected, the company didn't have much impact. They have a good bench of people. The good news for them was Raymond Kwok, Thomas's brother, was found innocent in this case, and he got back running the company. He had been the co-chairman. Thomas has resigned. Raymond's running the company. The stock has been up. The stock was up right after when it first started trading after the verdict. It was up about 2.5%. It's up a little more today. You know, there's a weight taken off.
That's the Raymond Sun God. All of them are jokes. Yeah, everything is a joke. So that is the two Kwok brothers running this massive fraud in allegiance with the court of the Bank of England, their colleagues, sworn in to steal from the world's people. Case centres around 3.7 million in bribes. Yeah, they're on the Forbes rich list as billionaires. Yeah. Total trivia is released. Yeah, and this is the reason George Osborne has resigned, is because, and Nathan Rothschild Jr. has confirmed that in my town, that I've got his director numbers with Jacob Rothschild Sr. Yeah, on the Future of Russia Fund, and all of the manipulation of the whole world happens out of the English speaking world now. Yeah, but when you look at the directorates for the new boss at the Bank of England, there's loads of WOPs and there's loads of Germanic names, and only 2 of his companies are listed because he's resigned from the rest of them. They know that I'm going to investigate this periodically. Yeah, it's amazing that Cameron has the gall to keep that Cairn company launched. Yeah, they interlock with all of the Rothschild frauds in Auckland. And all of that has been reported by Gordon Bowden, Peter Eyre and me for best part of 6 years now. Yeah, and he's still there, the Cairn boss. No products to sell, all of the investments get crashed, and the Prime Minister in India takes the fall for Cameron before Cameron was forced to resign because of my explicit exposures of his massive financial crimes. Yeah, and the Brexit thing is just a scam. Yeah, so there's the court of directors. Let's now find some of the boards that is run by this man. Yeah, who's the new boss. Okay, and there's the Eon UK PLC company. There is Anthony John Habgood, and we'll see all of his companies. It's a fucking massive scandal. Yeah, he's got about 16. He's only left on 2 of them. Yeah, there's no addresses given. Mr. Anthony John Habgood, Mr. Anthony John Habgood, Mr. Anthony John Habgood. That one has one of his companies live, all on its own. He's addressed there, London, West 1 K6NX, London. His next one is in fucking Coventry, yeah, where the bare naked truth comes out, yeah, and that's the Peasel Horse Association too. London, England, EC4V 3BJ, England. Okay, and his director numbers are different. Yeah, it's the same man. Yeah, this is the one that lures them all in on this company, and I'll take you back to that company now. I think this will take us back. There is the Eon fraud that we've just been reporting. There are page after page. Let me show you what his wife does. She's at the bottom as the secretarial fraud. And they've got National Australian Trustees Limited as security trustees for the beneficiaries. Yeah, and it's the Mafia Op Credit Suisse Eon Pension. That's Eon for Jesus in the fake Bible. Yeah, because Mark Carney makes his announcements behind a stable door at the Bank of England because they think they're untouchable. Right then, so the directors are listed below. This is the Eon joke because that is one of the big 6 energy companies. Here are the financials. Look at the numbers that they are net worth. That's million. That's 3.6 billion. Yeah, is their net worth. Yeah, this one, total current assets. They have 5 billion in assets, and they have 5 billion in liabilities. So they're not so well off after all. And that's what the pensioners and the investors get. Zippo. all of it is taken into their handbags, and off they go, yeah, into those elite alpine regions where they were schooled with Bin Laden and all the scandals. Let me show you yesterday's news now. Yeah, this is the news that Bill Gates is related to the Bush dynasty. He is related to the Romneys. They are related to the Ryans, and Tom Hanks' Rockefeller on the beach at Normandy is a massive scandal. There's Anthony Hopkins with the word Pizzo in it. He's the serial killer in comedy, in the Hollywood output. He is the Bible fraudster that covers Bill Gates and the FDR family being on that ship. Yeah, and that's the Mayflower wealth stream that becomes the Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints and the Council for Foreign Relations, the CFR. And she is a red herring, and that is the sun god's icon now, because it is the same as the police badge on the lapel. Yeah, can you see it in the corner? The sun god icon, and the Rotary Club icon is exactly the same. Yeah, and there is Stephen House, and the houses are the ancestors of the Gates and Governor Gates and all of the pirates of the Caribbean off the Mayflower and into the Jamestown mafias. Yeah, it is absolutely relentless. And there's Condon, because this woman, Prince William's mum, yeah, Prince Harry's mum, yeah, she was murdered in the tunnels because she is a good woman, and she exposes the landmines of Bread Camp and all the massive scams that are the shagging of Camilla, yeah, by Prince Charles years and years before they met. Yeah, 2 children at their expense. They pretended for a time that one of them was dead. I met him in the supermarket yesterday. He's got really lovely rosy cheeks. Yeah, and the other one is from Glam's Castle, and she wears jodhpurs, which she pretends that she does not recognise me now. Okay, there's the G4S mobster that declared her killing was a fatal accident. Yeah, yeah, the official lingo for murder. He runs G4S with Malcolm Rifkind, the war criminal, who interlocks with John Anthony Chilcot in the war crimes of Iraq. And that's Pocahontas, who sold her tribe. Yet she's the first American Indian to become a Christian, and when she did that, she changed her name from Pocahontas so she could become a real estate magnate in London, and she began to call herself Rebecca, like that one. Yeah, the thief in the Chipping Norton cabal. Yeah, and do you get the Police Scotland joke? He's the one that I've chased out of office. He's been replaced by a Gormley, and that is just an interlock for Elizabeth Murdoch's mafias in the Sky News empire. He is a Gormley, but that is not the same one as the stupid policeman who they're putting into the front page of the paper as a massive mansion owner so that they can get the gaze of the world off their sins. Yeah, and that's the red herrings that the Indians used to allow the incoming pilgrims, yeah, that are Bill Gates's relatives, yet to grow some food, and that is the fact that the red herrings are manure for the fields. It's also the fish, yeah, and that is the joke, is my cock's a lobster, because when you have sex when the woman is menstruating, you get a red herring as the fish between your legs. And that's Michael Gambon's joke, yeah, at the National Theatre. Right then, so let me show you the profile of the new boss at the Bank of England. It's a long time since I reported Dave Prentice and his massive frauds. All of his members had their pay frozen in the public sector, yeah, healthcare industry, for 7 years back to back, until I reported the fact that David Prentice was the unison boss and he was on the court of the Bank of England. That year they got 1%. The energy bills for the Woks, the Kwoks, go up 20% year on year, and all of the boardrooms are inhabited by Germanic, yeah, yeah, and foreign power brokers. Some of them are knights of our realm. It's quite rare. Right then, so here is Hong Kong billionaire, and there is the Eon UK PLC, and there is it's just amazing. Yeah, there's the figures for his companies, and I think we can find. Okay, so here's the director listing: Sandstrom, Bernotat, and this is for. Well, it does not tell you what company. Yeah, it does not tell you what company. Oh, this is the Eon one, okay? Do you get it? That's Eon, one of the big 6 energy companies, but it's not the authentic one. Yeah, it's another money stream for them, and that's why they need all of the laundering companies that are appended and are used as directors and also secretaries in the blocks below. Okay? Share capital 2, oh my god, it's horrendous. So, Alf Roberts, Anthony David Cocker, Burkhard Bergman, Erhard Walter Schipporet, yeah, that's the parrot jokes for the pythons, and the world owning bloodline with the Tyson jokes and the boxers, Johannes Tyson. There's the Chinese felon, Dr. Kwok Po David Lee, yeah, right up between 1998 and 2002, yeah, when he appears on the rich list, he is stealing from these British companies. Sandstrom, and there is the new boss at the Bank of England. Right, and that's page 1 of 5 in this case. This is Eon UK PLC. When you see it there, you can't tell that it is a piss take about E-all in the Bible. Yeah, the donkey for Jesus and for buttons. So let's just go through this and I'll show you who the other interlocking directors are. Mr. John Anthony Gardner, Mr. Timothy Lightfoot, Mr. James Timothy Lightfoot, Graham John Bartlett. Do you remember the Bartletts in the Great Escape movie? Mr. Edmund Arthur Wallace, Mr. Derek Irving King, and up we go. David John Jackson, David Graham Newborough, David Dance, Colin Maxwell Short, Brian Jefferson Tier. Yeah, and it does not tell you now how many companies they run. Yeah, that's why they've put the date of birth in there, so it can obfuscate how big the Ponzi schemes are. Yeah, that was run-of-the-mill information until I reported the identity fraud scams to John Lamont, MSP, an advisor in law to the Scottish Government. They live, or they are registered E.O, yeah, E.O UK PLC is Westwood Way, Westwood Business Park, Coventry, CV4 8LG, with the boss at the court of the Bank of England and one of his 20 or so now rejected companies. Yeah, because you dare not get in my way. Okay, right then, so let's see what we get when we go further back. Mr. Anthony John Habgood, and I think we'll get a listing of all of his companies. Yes, we do. Yeah, and they've got the bungee joke for Rupert Murdoch in the companies. National Westminster Bank Public Limited Company. Yeah, do you get it? This is the Bank of England fraudsters interlocking with the merchant banks, and all of them are in the debt pool. That means our country is obliged to just issue the money to itself, and the taxpayers have to fund the democracy. There is the Pegasus Equestrian Services joke about the Piso family and their horsey icon, and the woman that is the wife of the new boss at the court of the Bank of England uses that as her alias. Yeah, and the Relics one, that is the Holy Relics joke too. Powergen Limited, that is one of the big 6 too. Yeah, we'll look at the directors of that later on. Yeah, so this is one of 2 of his listings. National Westminster Bank, MHC UK, Marks and Spencer's, Stella Remington, yeah, Lord Patton's wife Louise, yeah, and my wife's place of work, trained in fucking Baker Street, where all of the intel were trained for World War II. The Baker Street irregulars, now totally removed from world history, yeah, by David Cameron and the false news people, yeah, that are Jimmy Wales and all of the people that live, possibly with Princess Diana, in the tax havens. Yeah, do you get it? I'll show you the directors on that later on if we've got time. Eon UK PLC. You get the donkey joke now? Yeah, and let's have a look at the secretaries, because that Pegasus thing is the wife of the new man at the Bank of England. Oh, it will have to go back to page 1, I think, to get the secretaries. Page 2 now. Oh. So here are, and this is registered in Jermyn Street, London, Mr. Anthony John Habgood. Remember that he's only still on 2 of those, and that's why he has 3 street addresses, so they can launder it and they can pretend that the companies in the other addresses are busted when the tax year comes round. Relics PLC, active, this is one he's active in, appointed the 1st of June 2009, yeah, when I was still in New Zealand. SVG Capital PLC, Total LLC, Total Shelf Co, Ponzi Scheme, Open Declaration number 1 Limited, Whitbread, the Brewing Company Group PLC, Whitbread PLC. And let's see if we can find his missus. Right then. No, we can't find his missus on that one. We'll have to go back a bit. There's the fact that he's 2 active, 13 resigned now, and 1 closed. Okay? And so we've seen all of his stuff and all of the dirty there. I could take you to the profiles of the other people and show you the power brokers that get picked to steal from the Bank of England. John Anthony Habgood. Okay? And when I get his companies is, so what they've done is they've got rid of him from all of those other companies, so 11 of the 13 you cannot now find out who used to be his interlocks. Yeah, it's only 1 or 2 of those companies that they list as the interlocking directors now. Okay, so let's see if we can find Marks and Spencer's, and we'll have a little trawl around it. Yeah, this is the hub for Intel. It's the hub for the Christmas merchandising for Zion. Yeah, and it's the hub for MI5 in fucking Oxfordshire. Yeah, where all those bombing aircraft zones are, in David Cameron's Oxfordshire immune from bombing constituency. Okay, so let's have a look at his companies again. It's ever so reluctant to obey my instructions. Yeah, I cannot go to the top and select his companies. They will not let me go to the top. Yeah, Rebecca. That is the chipping knot, and Mr. Here it is. Getting closer. Jermyn Street, London. Yeah. Not German in that context, in the monarchy context. And we cannot get to the headings and select one of his companies. So, I think this was the one that we saw his companies on. So let's see if we can click on Marks and Sparks. No, we can't. Okay, there, here we go. So, PowerGen Limited. Shall we do that first? That's one of the big 6 energy companies. Let's see who the board members are. You get the Eon joke. Yeah, and they've taken me to court this morning. Yeah, they had massive storms again last night. Yeah, massive storms, and I've requested a meeting with my MP Callum Kerr. Not had a reply from him. Every one of my posts, yeah, including this one, go onto his Facebook page. At least he's got the bottle to keep it going. PowerGen, Westwood Way, Coventry. Well, I've got fans. Right then. Directors and secretaries. Christopher Shaw Gibson Smith. Yeah, here's all the Germans coming in. Hans Dieter Harrig, Hans Michael Gall. This is PowerGen. Oh, and Kwok Po David Lee is on this too. Yeah, the felon on the billionaire, yeah, in the Lee mafias with his brother taking over when he has to bail out and go to jail for 5 years. Paul Golby, Wolf Bernotat, very English names for the court of the Bank of England. Mr. Anthony John Habgood, and do you get the Habsburg connection there? Mr. Christopher John Salami, Mr. Colin Maxwell Sharp, Mr. David Jackson. We've done this already, so I need to find his companies. And Pegasus Equestrian Services, that's his wife, almost on her own. Where is Marks and Sparks? There it is. Okay, Marks and Sparks. He's been a director there since 2004. Yeah, when Tony Blair was already in Iraq. He resigned in 2005, and all of that is around the time that Chilcot and Rifkind were running the massive war crimes complex, yeah, interlocking with the Cairn directors, and everything that happened in Lothian Road is a virtual products fraud run by the Prime Minister of our country with his profiteer on the board of the Bank of England, Marks and Spencer Group PLC. Yeah, this is Stella Remington, Louise Patton, and some of them don't even have directors now. Yeah, the accounts are overdue since 2015. The age of this company is 15 years. It has 14 directors. Let's find them out. I hope Miss Manningham Buller is not there. She's a very bad-tempered woman, or at least her body double is. It's a really dangerous thing for me to say. Okay, so directors and secretaries. Dame Stella fucking Remington, yeah, right up from 2002 to 2004, when all of those crimes in Iraq were happening. Yeah, the Duplessis of Rio Tinto, Dr. Stephen Michael Sharp, Lady Louise Alexandra Virginia Charlotte Patton, 2006 right up to 2011, when I was an accomplished fraud researcher. Lord Terence Burns, I hope it's not the head of the NHS that I forced to resign. Yeah, Terry Burns. Manvinder Singh Bana, Miss Melissa Catherine Andrews. Yeah, none of them are live. I don't know who's looking after poor old Marks and Spencer since it came under scrutiny. Mr. Alan James Harris Stewart, Mr. Alan James McWalter, Mr. Andrew Gareth Ride. Oh, there's 6 pages. It's going to be interesting. Okay, if we go to the 6th one first, it's usually the Knights of the Realm. Let's have a go at that. See if we can sex it up a bit and see who their secretaries and directors are for the laundering first. Oh, look at the turnover. Yeah, also in the billion money streams. Yeah, total chicken feed compared to the New World Order Freemasonic banks. Yeah, that is HSBC and all of those frauds that Dr. Stephen Andrew Hancock's lives in and with and profits from. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to the Lords and Ladies at Marks and Spencer's. Okay, so that is the tab, that is the last one, where they save up the power brokers, keep them shielded. Okay, no data available in table. I can't believe that. Oh, look at that. Oh no. Yeah, so there is not a page 6 according to that new version. Oh, here we go. Stuart Allen Ransom Rose and Trusec Limited, which is registered elsewhere for the missus of the man at the Bank of England as a director and a laundering tool. Okay, Sir Stuart Allen Ransom Rose. Okay, so page 5 we might get the other lords and ladies. Miss Alison Claire Reid, this is the directors and secretaries. Miss Amanda Mellor, and the Mellons are interlocked with that new man at the Bank of England on the earlier revelations and companies I looked into. Remember, only 2 of them are live. Yeah, Miss Drusilla Charlotte Jane Rowe, Mrs. Barbara Cassini, Miss Eleanor Jane Zurcher. Let's find his missus, quick. Kate Bostock, Laura Catherine Wade Jerry, Laurel Claire Powers Freeling, Martha Lane Fox, Miranda Curtis. Yeah, that is the directors and secretaries. She's further up the list. And I thought, oh God. So that is actually the directors. And you only get the secretaries and the missus on the first couple of pages. It's ever so difficult to use the site effectively now, and the interlocking directors only give you 2 pages worth. Yeah, he's got all of these 13 companies in the last year, 2 years ago. All of his interlocks through all of his history would be available to me. Page 4, Helen Alison Weir, I think we've done that. Stephen John Holiday, and they've got a soggy Radic, yeah, like the communist menace, Mr. Vittorio Radici. Classy sounding characters, yet total thieves from our country, and very few of them are British. By the looks of things, Richard Leslie Solomons, Robert William Ashburn Swanell, and I cannot find the missus, Mr. Paul Miners. Let's go back to the... Oh no, this is... I've not looked at Marks and Spencer's this morning. Shit. Sorry, I can only do it with one hand. And there's... Which company did we want to look for? Oh, here's the Lomaxes of the Devil's Advocate. Okay, so... yeah, here we go. Ian, and you cannot know how many companies any of these launderers and Ponzi thieves have, because now they give you the date of birth. Kevin Lomax, do you get it? That is the name of the devil's son in the Devil's Advocate movie. John Michael Josephine Keenan, John William Dixon, Justin Matthew King, could be another one of Mervyn's relations. Luke Van de Velde, Mark Bolland, yeah, pop singer from Newcastle, I think. Boland, Dr. David McKeon, Maurice Harold Hefgott, Patrick Francois Bousquet Chavan. Yeah, this is Marks and Spencer's PLC. And quickly, John Oakley, David Ronald Norgrove, David Michael Charles Michels, David Jeremy Darrach, Mr. Charles Wilson, Brian Ford Baddock, Mr. Anthony John Habgood, at least we found him, Mr. Anthony Frank Elliot Ball, Mr. Andrew Raymond Fisher, Mr. Andrew Nigel Halford. Okay, so the way to find him is to click on him and see whether we can find his interlocking directors, who include his wife. Yeah, nice little earner for the Bank of England. Oh no, this is only the two companies. Oh, sorry, this is a total mess. Shit. So, if we search for him again, Anthony sorry, it's all looked up by Rebecca in Chipping Norton. Anthony John Habgood. Okay, this time we'll go to interlocking directors with him and see what we find on that first company. Yeah, and we'll find his wife, because it's only the two that he's least ashamed of that they have got listed there. Okay, so there he is. The top one is the numerous companies one, I think. Oh shit, it's not, it's only got two. And we cannot find the summary or the list of directors. Let's see if we can find it further down. They keep changing the website. There's the 13 resigned ones. No, you cannot get what you're after now. It was so simple. You remember me teaching John Patterson even how simple it was? Right, and you cannot get to the directory of what you want to find for him. Yet the little tabs that say companies or fuck it. I think we should stop. Okay? At least they're convicting criminals from the Forbes rich list in China now. Yeah, none of the Rothschilds get a mention. And we cannot go to the top of any of those pages. No, I think we'll stop. We could go back to the Bank of England and dissect them a bit. Let's do that with the rest of the time. Yeah, I've not done this, it's off the cuff. So, Anthony John Habgood and Hong Kong billionaire, I think that's the Bank of England tab. Okay, the Court of Directors. Here we go. So this is new. I've not been here. I don't know anything about the new ones. Yeah, I know all about the old ones. Yeah, and how crooked that Carney guy is. He was investigated by the Levison inquiry. That's Lord Levison Gower, who is the Duchess of Sutherland's relative, who sent even the Murdochs to the colonies for stealing bread. Okay, so let's do the ones I've never heard of before. Okay, Anthony Habgood, chair of the court. What can we find out from his person profile? Habgood is chairman of the Court of Bank of England since 2014. Yet when Prentice appeared on the front page of my website and they tried to section me. Chairman of Relics Group plc, formerly Reed Elsevier, the biggest publishers in the whole fucking world, and I work for them in the frauds that the doctors try and get me engaged in. That is Reed Elsevier out of Amsterdam in the Babylonian buildings. Yeah, since 2009, chairman of Prequin since 2011. He was also chairman of Norwich Research Partners LLP, Whitbread plc, Molnillick Healthcare Limited 2006 to 7, and of Bunzel, the bungee jump joke for Rupert Murdoch, a graduate in economics from Cambridge with an MS in industrial administration from Carnegie Mellon University, which is why the interlocks with the Mellon Bank are still on his interlocks. Yeah, even although they are no longer live. He joined Boston Consulting Group in 1970 and became a director in 1977, having worked in Boston, Tokyo, Munich and London. Can you see how they sell the country? Rothschild all. Yeah, he became managing partner of BCG Limited in London and a member of its executive of BCG Inc. from 1981 to 86. He joined Total Group. Total Group in 1986, becoming chief exec in 91. He was a chief executive of Bunzl up to 1996, subsequently becoming, and he's in my mate's universities. Past non-executive directorships include Gist plc, NatWest Bank plc, PowerGen plc, Marks and Spencer and Norwich University Hospital Foundation Trust. That is Norwich University, who discovered global warming. John Winpenny, my old colleague. Yeah, in 2006 he was the winner of the Daily Telegraph Award for the something National Business Awards. Is it Debrett's? Let's have a look. It's gone over the margin for all of the other paragraph. For a decade of business excellence, he was a visiting fellow at Oxford University, where Lord Patton used to be the husband of Louise on the board of Marks and Spencer's, but he's had an act of God and he's never been seen since 2014, when I published a 10-minute video on his summary frauds that take you right into the HSBC and the Honkers and Shonkers frauds, and him being the governor of China, where all of the mafia people are on these boards. Right then, so let's go back and see who else we've got. So, Mark Carney, let's show you his history. This is the lumberjack doing okay joke. Yeah, I'm certain he was at the Bank of Canada. He's governor of the Bank of England, chairman of the Monetary Policy Committee. Yeah, that is pumping money out by quantitative easing. That is electronic release of suitcases worth of electronic money, yeah, to you and your friends. Board of the Prudential Regulation, yeah, that is the insurance company that came and saw my garage had no roof on it, and even though I've got a comprehensive policy, they would not pay for any of it. Yeah, and my outhouses, my lovely little summer house. His appointment as governor was approved by Her Majesty the Queen on 26 November 2012. Yeah, that's the year that they changed the laws of succession, and Her Majesty had Greg Hallett topped. The governor joined the bank on 1st July 2013. Yeah, the successor to Mervyn King, who's all over the fucking Rothschilds boards, yeah, when they did not have fraud researchers to worry about. In addition to his duties as governor of the Bank of England, he serves as chairman of the Financial Stability Board, first vice chairman of the European Systemic Risk Board, a member of the Group of 30 and of the World Economic Forum scam, yet since the Bilderberg was launched up there in the Alps by Harold Wilson with the Pi Piezo pipe. He was born in Fort Smith, Northwest Territories, Canada in 1965. I think that's where Miss Tom comes from. He received a bachelor's degree in economics from Harvard, where Bill Gates is the shining light. Yeah. He went on to receive a master's degree in economics in 1993 and a doctorate in economics in 1995, both from Oxford, immune from bombing, like Heidelberg and Göttingen, in the Alps, in the Bayern Munich region of Germany. After a 3-year career with Goldman Sachs in its London, Tokyo, New York and Toronto offices, Mark Carney, governor of the Bank of Canada in August 2003. In November 2004 he left the Bank of Canada to become senior something of finance. He held his position until his appointment as governor of the Bank of Canada in February 2008, when the world's banks were crashed. The Bank of Canada and its chairman of its board of directors until 1st of June 2013. So that is still the Royal Bank of Canada. Canada, you may have noticed, does not have a king and queen, but the queen is still his boss this side of the Atlantic, and that's how it works in wartime too. Right then, who else have we got? Let me take you to the Cairn man, because that is David Cameron's sad story. Yeah, no products. Ben Broadbent, Sir John Cunliffe, does not give any details for them. Let me show you what this one does. Tim Frost, non-executive director of Cairn Capital, David Cameron's Ponzi fraud that defrauded even the Prime Minister of India and made him resign way before Cameron contemplated that. Tim Frost is director of credit asset manager Cairn Capital, which has no products, and financial information company Market. He served in the British Army in Germany and the Falklands and ran a hostel for drug addicts before spending 15 years at JP Morgan. Colourful history, where he helped to establish the credit derivatives business. Yeah, don't know what that is, but there is no product at the end of the pipeline. They have a magazine at the beginning, billions of investors, yeah, investing millions, yeah, that get wasted, and none of it is regulated, because they bundle it into packages of less than £1 million at a time, and that is why David Cameron, yeah, is so ashamed of what he's done. Tim is a governor of the London School of Economics and was appointed director of the Bank of England in 2012. Yeah, when I reported it, and all of them are pictured on my web page. Yeah, with David Lees as the boss then. Yeah, term of appointment. So there's nothing to report. He has no products. Do you get it? I forget the name of the Prime Minister in India who had to pack up, because what they did was they crashed the company, then sold the shares again at 1/10 of the original price to the Indian investors, then they crashed them again. So everybody's pension is fucked. And that is the London School of Economics and the director of the Bank of England. Okay, so let's find this new one. Yeah, Miss Shafiq. Legitimate sounding English name. Yeah, it could be the Islamic menace penetrated the system. Nemat Minouche Shafiq, Deputy Governor, Markets and Banking. She became Deputy Governor on 1st of August 2014. She is responsible for reshaping the bank's operations and balance sheet. This is the concept that our country is in a sovereign debt crisis, yet like every other country in the world, and no balance sheet can have everybody on the balance sheet as being debtors. That's what we've got now in the government global scam, including ensuring robust risk management practices and to lead the design and execution of quantitative easing, the issuance of electronic money to your mates in all of the global G20 mafia, and some of the Arabs that trained in the same schools as Bin Laden and the Rothschilds and the Hohenzollerns and Kaiser Bill in fucking Alpine, yeah, Carniville region. She is also overseeing the implementation of reforms to the bank's sterling monetary framework, leading the bank's work to build fair, efficient and effective financial markets. Yeah, it is just a steal from the people, and they need market intelligence of who's selling the frauds, like the Prime Minister did for all those years he was in power, and still, by the looks of things. Quite stunned when I found that that director from Cairn was still there, because David, Peter Eyre and Bowden have hit him right between the eyes. Shafiq is jointly responsible for surveillance, analysis and engagement. She represents the bank in international groups and institutions, including a G20 deputy, and in the bank's engagement with the IMF and Miss Lagarde, who's my Facebook friend now, to keep an eye on everything I post. Overseas central banks and the Bank for International Settlements. That is Basel, Switzerland. It is the Basel faulty joke for Mervyn King, who trained Mark Carney in fucking Basel. Do you get it? Basel faulty. Yeah, and that is the fish called Wanda Films, and everything is about money laundering. Dr. Shafiq sits on the Monetary Policy Committee, the Financial Policy Committee, the bank's Court of Directors and Regulatory Authority. Yeah, she regulates, so the IMF's work in Europe and the Middle East, the IMF's 1 billion admin budget human resources. Do you see how much or how little 1 billion is in their scams? Nimat Shafiq was permanently Secretary of the Department for International Development. Yeah, this is the Angela Kane scandals. Yeah, and the development, that is the office that Helen Clark held, and she stole, I don't know whether it was 2 million or 20 million in the 2 or 3 years after she resigned as Prime Minister of New Zealand, where I had proclaimed that she was a decent woman because she refused to take the forces at that time to war. Yeah. She is a massive mobster, and she's a personal friend of Shania Twain, the goddess. Right then, so who else have we got? Mugshots are important. Okay, Sam Woods, the Prudential. Let's find. I'm tempted to go to that Dido Harding woman and see the links to the telecom groups that are the Chipping Norton Mafia, but let's have a look first. No, let's just do it. She's just below. Okay, Diana Dido Harding, Non-Executive Director, Chief Executive of Talk Telecom Group PLC since 2010. Yet, so Vodafone is run by Matthew Freud's mates. I forget the name of the Vodafone magnates in the Chipping Norton drinking set. Prior to her appointment, Dido was a Sainsbury Convenience Director, having been appointed to Sainsbury's Operating Board. So Lord Sainsbury left Sainsbury's in 2002. It's all in the hands of the Lloyd's debt pool ever since. Yet that is the concept, that they run all of the new scams out of solvent institutions and they pay for them from their debt pool. This is our government and its leaders in the financial services sector. Prior to this, she worked at Kingfisher and Thomas Cook Limited, where she gained considerable retail experience. She was appointed retailing at Thomas Cook as a non-executive director of the Court of the Bank of England in July. She also served on the boards of the British Land Company PLC and Cheltenham Racecourse. Yeah, all of the massive Roman Road scams. Yeah. In August 2014, Dido was offered a peerage and now sits on the House of Lords as a Conservative peer. Dido has a first-class degree in politics, philosophy and economics from Magdalen College, Oxford, and a Massachusetts from Harvard Business School, a Master's from Harvard Business School. She is trustee of Doty Everyone, and so that's to be doted and spoilt. Every one of the board members are billionaires of these for-profit mafia cabals. Member of the UK National Holocaust, oh my God, fund. The Holocaust Fund. And that is Theresa May's attempts to get more money for Trident, just to cover all of my exposures to the Scottish Justice Secretary, that Trident is also a financial scam run by Tim Spicer, who's a friend of the 9/11 bombers, who were Al-Fayed and the Khashoggi man that was educated in that school in Switzerland with Dodi Fayed. Don't know how recently this person has been added here. Do you get the Diana and Dido obfuscation tool for the murder of Dodi and Diana together? And Diana is a close relative of Bill Gates, the world's richest man, allegedly, with no Rothschilds on the listing, or Rockefellers. Right then, we could stop it's quite boring. I wish I'd been able to dissect the boardrooms and remember how I got to the telling bits. Take my word for it, the wife of the new director of the Court of the Bank of England is a money launderer. She uses the biggest companies, and that includes the SWIFTs, which are now, I know, cover for the relatives of Bill Gates. And the launch of Taylor Swift into popular culture. Let's see what Sam Woods does. Executive of the Prudential Regulation Authority. Yeah, regulation in the mafia. Deputy Governor. Let me show you his picture. Kind of skinny looking. Yeah, as if he works hard. Yeah, there he is. All of them got specs on, no vision. Yeah, you don't need vision to be a profiteer in government. So, Deputy Governor, Prudential Regulation, and Chief Executive, Prudential Regulation Authority. He assumed that role on 1st July 2016 as Deputy Governor for Prudential Regulation and CEO of the PRA. Sam Woods is also a member of the bank's Court of Directors, the PRA Board, the Financial Policy Committee, and the Board of the Financial Conduct Authority. Yeah, do you get it? 5 billion to Mark Carney's mates since the Brexit thing was announced. That's enough to run our country for... no, it's... I can't remember. On the website that was the McCandless website, all of the costs of running our country in the first 2 years since I came back from New Zealand were openly declared. Now it's an official secret, and Klaus Moser is nearing 100 years old, and he's the lying statistician who's a friend of Oxford too. Sam's previous role was Executive Director of Insurance at the Prudential, and in this role Sam was responsible for overseeing the monitoring and regulation of over 600 life and general insurance firms. Do you get that? That is the 600 Christian Cross and Calpurnius Piso joke. Sam joined the Financial Services Authority, FSA, in 2011 and transferred to the bank in 2013 with the integration of PRA. He served as Director of Financial Stability, Strategy and Risk, and prior to that was Director for Domestic UK Banks Supervision. Before joining FSA Bank, Sam spent 10 years at Her Majesty's Treasury in a variety of senior roles. So he's worked at the Mint, he's worked at the bank, and he's worked now on the manipulation of the investment prospects for people's pensions and the regulation of what the thieves do at the Bank of England since Waterloo made it the Rothschild ownership. Right then, so let's look at Dave Prentice and then I'll stop. Have you heard of Unison before? Yeah, that's the public sector nurses. Court of Directors. So, Dave Prentice, let's find him. There he is. Not sure what Experian is. You look that up for yourself. If it's something shocking, please tell me. Dave Prentice, non-executive director. Dave, very friendly terms. Yeah, this is the working man's representative. Is General Secretary of Unison, representing 1.3 million workers, not as big as I thought it was, employed in the public and voluntary sectors, but now they can't afford to join the union because their pay has been frozen for so long and they get nothing back from it. And in private companies providing public services, he's on the Jewish Policy Studies Unit with the Duchess of Sutherland and the Montefiore's. That's the mountain of fire. And I was watching those videos on those themes last night when the clouds went black and the rain was pelting down. He was first elected in 2000 and re-elected in March 2005 despite all of my exposures of what happened. Sorry, that was before I started exposing him. 2010 and 2015. So he has served for 3 terms back to back. Yeah, God knows what his salary is. Yeah, I've got his directorial listings elsewhere. That's the Jewish Policy Studies Unit. He's General Secretary of Unison, representing 1.3 million workers employed in public and voluntary sectors and in private companies providing public services. First elected in 2000, yeah, and there's the re-election dates, 2005, 10 and 15. Yeah, very popular in the issuance of money to everyone but his members. Yeah, only his elite friends. And he gets elected because he's unprepared to tell the truth. There he is, lovely smile on his face. I think he's a Yorkshireman, he's from the north of England somewhere. Right then, so it does not for him list the companies. Yeah, it's a good job it does not list the companies. It's very embarrassing. Okay, he was Deputy General Secretary from its formation in 1993, that's Unison. Oversaw the union's policy making. Dave was born and brought up in Leeds and went to the University of London, where he took a bachelor's degree in history followed by a master's degree in industrial relations at the University of Warwick, where they have the war crimes rule that we write the script for you, Tony Blair and John Anthony Chilcot, and you have to parrot back what we have written. Otherwise it might get really dangerous if people start revealing the truth. That's University of Warwick rules. In 2015 he received an honorary doctorate from the university. He is a member of the TUC General Council, son's gone in, TUC Executive Committee, and the Trade Union Labour Party Liaison Committee. TUC's Public Services Committee sits on the government's Public Service Forum and was president of the Trade Union Congress, yet right up to September. So none of his corporate listings. And when you look at the Houses of Parliament now, as I've been doing recently for Philip Hammond, yeah, who is the new Chancellor, who's replaced the totally corrupted George Osborne, yeah, who interlocks with the Rothschilds and Henry Kissinger and the Murdochs and all of the future Russia fund. Yeah, all of that is a massive scandal. None of them now on the government listings at Westminster have to post their expenses or any surrogate incomes that they may have. So do you get it? He is on boardrooms, but they do not declare it here. This is the world's leading union leader. Okay, I think I'm going to stop there now. I could pry into those other people on the board, but do you see the massive scam that is the interlocking with the Chinese mafias and convicted felons? Yeah, and that man is prepared to take the fall so that Bill Gates, who's a relative of all the corrupted presidents in America and all the warmongering presidents, yeah, is able to get on untouched. And none of the Rothschilds appear anywhere here, but they are massively involved in that Cairn scam, and John Lamont MSP knows that. He's in denial. He's my representative, refuses to meet me on any issue, yeah, until my divorce from the disloyal woman who's also from the Chipping Norton cabal, yeah, is her divorce case has been seen through. Yeah, that's the massive red herring, yeah, that John Lamont, who is Julian Callum Lamont on the Business Register, is a massive mobster. Yeah, that's why he now talks only to 8-year-old kids on the internet, and he will not talk to me. He never has talked to me, even before I was anything involved in any way on divorce proceedings. I tried to get a meeting with him, and he said that unless I was more diplomatic on the secrets I was revealing, all of it would be copyrighted by him, and he would not be able to talk about anything that I was reporting to him. That is the massive frauds of the Rothschild Trust, yeah, the Lothian Road Ponzi schemes, and all of the Iraq War profiteering by Hannah Mary Rothschild and our interlocking directors. Bye bye. Yeah, Dave Prentice, leading union boss, and if anything goes wrong, he's the first one to get shut down. Boris Johnson was the editor of the Spectator magazine, yeah, when they revealed that Bin Laden was schooled at the same school as Khashoggi and the funders for the bringing down of the Twin Towers. And do you see how the Dido jokes and the Dodi Fayed thing, yeah, the Dodi name and Farage are the two poofs in the Lawrence of Arabia movie. Bye bye.